everybody, and welcome back to my channel. So today's video is going to be my weekly makeup basket. Now I'm filming it in this format because quite honestly I am exhausted and I do not want to show my face on camera. It is a Wednesday after school and I'm just tired. I'm so exhausted. Excuse me, I'm a little bit burpy, so I apologize for that, but I just finished contacting a few parents for some students that aren't showing up to class, so that wasn't very fun. So you know what is fun? Talking about makeup. So I'm actually going to switch it up a bit and I'm going to start with my lip products first because I quite honestly only use these products for the past 2 weeks. So the first lipstick that I have here is Charlotte Tilbury's Pillow Talk. Let me zoom you guys in here just a little bit because I feel like lip products deserve a good zooming in. I feel like it is just like such a classic color, a very gorgeous, I don't know, like mauve nude, I guess. Maybe not even like a mauve nude. I feel like sometimes it pulls mauve, sometimes it pulls a little bit on the peachy pink side. I do have the lip liner somewhere. It's probably in my everyday makeup bag, but this has just been living with me downstairs in my office, and I've really been loving this. I've also been pairing it with this lip liner from Alamar Cosmetics. It's in the shade Coqueta, and it is just a gorgeous like brownie color. So I use this as a lip liner and then I add Pillow Talk on top and then just kind of blend it out. And I really like the combination of like a darker lip liner with like a lighter nude. I've also been wearing this lip liner and the Pillow Top lip liner with the Fenty Beauty lip gloss in the shade Fussy. I really wanted to pick up like the original lip gloss, but or the what are these called, the gloss bombs, but I really like this color. And I feel like I get so much use out of a color like this. It makes your lips look really juicy. Sometimes I just wear this lip gloss on its own. Sometimes I pair it with the Pillow Talk lip liner or with like a darker lip liner like the one from Alamar Cosmetics. But I've honestly been using this. This is probably my most used lip product. I'm sorry, this is from L'Oreal. These are the Color Riche Bombs. I believe these have already been discontinued. This is in the shade 818 Nourishing Nude, and as you can see I have used a lot of this product already. I really love it because it has just a little bit of a tint to it, so very similar tint like the Fenty Beauty lip gloss, but it's not as sticky or not as shiny as the Fenty Beauty lip gloss. So honestly, when I'm just super tired in the morning and I don't want to throw on like a crazy lip color, then I will reach for this, and I've really been loving it. But pretty much I stuck to this very like neutral lip combo for the past 2 weeks. I think I wore like a pop of color on the weekend when we went out, but I honestly don't remember where I put that lipstick. I think it has gone somewhere to die at the bottom of my purse, so I tried to find it before I did this video, but I don't even honestly remember what purse I wore out over the weekend. All right, so let's move on to some eyeshadow singles that I have been loving. I really have been loving singles this week because it's just really a really quick and easy way to look put together. So honestly, I'm going to talk about these two first because these are the ones that I reached for the most. So first I have here Bobbi Brown. This is a sample of the bronzing powder in the shade Medium 2. As you guys can see, I have hit pan on this bronzing powder, and then I have the Nars single in the shade Himalaya, and I wore these two together probably for a week straight. So my entire like first week of school, I wore these two together except for the very first day of school. So I quickly threw this in my crease and then used my finger to apply this shade here. It is like a really pretty rose gold shade. You can honestly wear this all over the lid and then just blend it out into the crease, and it's like a nice one and done shade. But I liked pairing it with this bronzing powder to kind of give it a little bit more warmth and dimension. And this is honestly what I wore pretty much my entire first week of school. And then I wore this out a couple of times. I think I wore this out both Fridays that we went out to go grab some beers. This is from KVD Beauty, whatever the new like reformatted name is. I don't know if this is one of the products that they're carrying in the current line, but this is one of the single eyeshadows in the shade Doce, D-O-C-E, and it's the Metal Crush eyeshadow, and I really like this formula. I know they are on like mega sale right now on the Sephora website. A lot of the shades have already been discontinued, but I really like this one, and I was really enjoying the kind of more fall color that this pulled towards. And I just use this as a one and done shadow, so I put it all over my lid and I blended it out into the crease. It blends out really nicely, and I just wore this as a very simple one and done eyeshadow with some black eyeliner and mascara. So really loving those single eyeshadows. This is now getting into the palette. So this is the palette that I reached towards probably the most this week. So this is the Tartelette In Bloom palette, and I know the week is not over yet, and I'm probably going to continue to reach for this palette for the remainder of the week because I just really like how simple this palette is. I'm sure you guys have seen this, have heard of it, know how well it performs. It's just a really nice neutral shadow, but this has a mix of both shimmers and matte shades, and I think this performs a lot better than the original Tartelette palette. I prefer the Tartelette In Bloom palette, so I'm not going to harp on this one too much, and I am going to get on to a newer eyeshadow palette that I pulled out this week, and this is the So Jaded palette from Colourpop. Now, honestly, I didn't really like this palette. I feel like I'm going to maybe leave it in my weekly makeup basket and give it another go. The pans are really, really tiny. When I had seen this, I thought the pan sizes were going to be way bigger than this, and I was super excited specifically for this shade right here, Peridot, because there is a single shock shadow that she created, Kathleen Lights created, that is like this beautiful chartreuse green, and I was really excited to see the shade here because it reminded me of it. But honestly, this is one of the few shades that performs really well. I paired it with this citrine here to kind of, you know, go in the crease. And then I think I paired it with this one here in Jade. But some of these matte shades just don't perform very well. They're a little bit on the chalky side. They're a little bit patchy. They don't really build up all that well. So I was honestly a little bit disappointed in this palette. Now, I haven't played around with all of the shades yet. I really haven't played around with these super kind of chunky glitters that I know are definitely going to need like some type of like glitter glue, because they're definitely more like pressed chunky glitters. And I was a little scared to play around with those. I played it safe. I went with some of the more traditional formulations here. I was super disappointed in this shade Emerald. It kind of felt like it blended away, and it looked like it was going to be like an absolutely gorgeous color, but it just, I don't know if you can see that. It has a little bit of like a blackened base, so I try to play around with it and put like a colored base underneath it, but honestly I feel like the blackened base, this will look really pretty as like a smoky eye, but it almost blended away a little bit too smoky, and that like pop of green just wasn't there. So I ended up adding like aquamarine on top of it, and it just, aquamarine, as you can see here, is probably like the worst shade in the palette. It doesn't really build up. It's just a terrible color, and that's one of my absolutely favorite colors, as you can see there. It's just so sheer and non-buildable that, yeah, I was kind of disappointed in some of the colors in this palette, but there's still some that I want to play around with. Like, I haven't played around with this turquoise or this amethyst color here, so We'll see, we'll give it a go. I honestly avoided some of these more like neutral shades. But so far, I don't really like this palette. So that's it for eyeshadow palettes. Now let's move on to some cheek products. So I pulled out this palette here. I'm sorry, I'm trying not to blind you guys. This is from Lorac. This is one of their holiday palettes years ago. It is the Beauty and the Beast inspired palette. And I really like this because it just has some gorgeous neutral shades. So you have like a neutral peachy blush, some mauve blushes with a little bit of shimmer, and then this gorgeous highlight here. So I really enjoyed pulling out this palette. This highlighter is a little bit more on the subtle side. So I really enjoyed pulling out this palette and playing around with it because it is a little bit more of a subtle everyday palette. I want to say I used this palette maybe 3 or 4 times in the past 2 weeks, but I wanted to pull it out to get a little bit of use out of it because I feel like some of my blush palettes get neglected. I tend to reach for my single blushes a lot more, so I've been trying to intentionally pull in a blush palette every single week, even if I only use it just once. But the blush that I stuck to for the majority of the week is this blush. It's a sheer tone blush from MAC, and it is in the shade Tenderling. I feel like this is like a cult classic blush. I believe it is discontinued, but I have seen it multiple times at the CCO. I live right next to a CCO, next to like a Mills here, and I have seen this blush several times, but correct me if I'm wrong, but I do believe that this blush is discontinued, but it's just a gorgeous natural everyday blush. I really love it. And then more often than not, I honestly found myself just reaching for a bronzer, so not even reaching for a blush. So before I move into the whole bronzer situation, let me talk about this. I pulled this in to try it. This I got for free. It is the e.l.f. they have like an aqua line. It's an interesting formula. This is the bronze and pink beige duo, and I was super excited when I first received this because it is like a cream to powder type of formula. And I was super excited for the bronzer, but the blush has some like glitters in it. I don't know if you can see that, but as I am swirling around, the blush does have some glitters in it. And oh gosh, like I'm running out of swatch space. Maybe I should have grabbed like a makeup white. But the brush is blush is really bright. And the bronzer is just a little bit too intense for my skin tone. And I feel that normally I can make bronzers kind of blend out a little bit and work a little bit better with my skin tone, but this formula was just not very forgiving. And honestly, the reason I was so excited about this is because it reminds me of the formula from Bare Minerals. They have those like bounce and blush or bounce and blur blushes or something like that, and it's kind of got that like cushiony, not quite Colourpop cushiony, but it's like this very interesting like cream to powder type of formula, and I love the formula of those, and this honestly seems like a dupe for me, but it's not very blendable. So I tried going in with a light hand and it just didn't work. I tried going in with like a stippling blush and it just didn't work. So I'm probably going to declutter this product because I really didn't like the formulation of it, but I am glad that I got it because I got it as a free gift with purchase because it was one of the products that I was thinking about purchasing from e.l.f. All right. So moving on to the 2 bronzers that I pulled out this week. This is my Physicians Formula Butter Bronzer. I've hit Major Pan on this. This is just like a very quick, easy bronzer. It is a little bit on the lighter side. And I honestly just like wearing this on its own when I do wear it. I kind of pull it a little bit more towards like, you know, the front of the apple of my cheeks. And I wear it kind of like as a blush bronzer combo there. And then I pulled out the Park Avenue Princess Amazonian Clay Bronzer. This is the one that has a little bit more shimmer to it. I know they have a matte version of this, but I quite honestly prefer the shimmery version of this bronzer because I feel like the matte version is just too powdery, not I don't know, it doesn't really work well with me. So there is the shimmery bronzer. And as you can see, it is on the lighter side. It is more buildable. And that's why I like it, because it is a shimmery bronzer, but it's not super intense. And I prefer my bronzers when I can build them up. So this formula is probably one of my favorite formula for bronzers. And I believe it is still available. It used to be limited edition, but I have still seen them selling this packaging on both the Sephora and the Ulta website, honestly. I'm not too sure about the Ulta website, but I definitely know that it is still available on the Sephora website. All right, so we shall end the video with some highlighters. So because the blush palette did have some highlighters in it, but had one highlighter in it, but it was a little bit more on the subtle side, I decided to pull in the Amrezy highlighter. You guys know this highlighter. A lot of people have talked about how they wish it was limited or permanent. I know I had seen it for such a long time that I was actually shocked that it wasn't permanent. I was under the impression that it was a permanent highlighter, because normally with these type of highlighters, these limited edition highlighters, they are a little bit, I don't even want to say a little bit, they normally sell out extremely quickly, and this one just felt like it stayed in stock for a very long time, or maybe they restocked it several times. I'm sure you can find it like a few different places, like Depop or Mercari. I have seen it in a few different places like that. And I have seen it that it's not super expensive. So it is a really good highlighter, but honestly, they're probably going to bring this highlighter back. Knowing how popular that highlighter is, I'm almost willing to bet that they're going to bring that highlighter back. All right, so then I pulled this out, and this is actually like one of my absolute favorite little highlighter palette thingies here, and this is by a brand called Vintage by, I can never say this name, Jessica Leapskind. I can never say that name. And this is a duo. It's the Illuminating Face Highlighter set in Rose Quartz and Chocolate Diamond. And I got this, I want to say, in like a BoxyCharm a few years ago. And at first when I heard the names, I was like, oh gosh, this is going to be like a very odd colored highlighter. But no, it is absolutely gorgeous. It's like this really pretty kind of rose gold highlighter. It's like a pinky rose gold highlighter, but very, very soft pinky highlighter. And then there is this like very light chocolatey gold highlighter. I feel like my hands are super dry, so these highlighters are not swatching very well on my hands right now. But I really like this highlighter palette. I saw so many people declutter this and sell this on Mercari and Depop. I have still seen this thing around, and I absolutely love this thing. It's so soft, so finely milled. I think the colors are very flattering for like a medium skin tone, maybe even light to medium skin tone, that I don't know, I felt like it was like a little hidden gem that everyone just wanted to declutter, either because the colors just didn't look super interesting. Like in the pan, they look like, I don't know, they look a bit boring, but it's just an absolutely gorgeous product. So yeah, those are all of the products that I played around with these past couple of weeks that were in my weekly makeup basket. I hope you guys enjoyed this video and kind of me rambling and talking about makeup products. Give it a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already, and hopefully I will see you guys in the next one. Bye.